Most people think expensive coffee automatically tastes better than cheap coffee. Sometimes that is true, but the difference between a $3 jar of instant coffee and a rare auction lot worth thousands per kilogram is not about your morning routine. It is about how the American coffee market is structured, who it is designed for, and where real quality differences actually begin. There are 7 distinct levels, and most people only know 2 of them. Level 1, super cheap instant, under $5. This is where approximately half the world wakes up every morning, and there is zero shame in that. Instant coffee is one of the most significant food technologies of the 20th century. The idea sounds simple. Brew coffee, dehydrate it into powder or granules, and let people just add water. But executing that at global scale while keeping the price under $1 a cup is a genuine industrial achievement. The name that owns this level is Nescafé. Specifically, Nescafé Classico, the red jar that sits on the bottom shelf of every supermarket in America and on kitchen counters across more than 180 countries worldwide. Nestlé created the original Nescafé formula back in 1938, developed specifically to help the Brazilian government solve a coffee surplus problem. The brief was essentially, make this shelf stable and instant. What they built became one of the best-selling beverages in human history. Here is what most people get wrong about instant coffee. They assume it is a degraded version of real coffee. It is not. It is a completely different product that was designed for a completely different purpose. Nescafé Classico is not trying to taste like a pour-over from a specialty roaster. It is trying to deliver a reliable, consistent caffeinated experience in under 60 seconds with zero equipment. On those terms, it succeeds. The flavor profile at this level is dark, slightly bitter, and one-dimensional. There is not much nuance. There is not supposed to be. What there is consistency. Every jar tastes like the last jar. That is the product. At level 1, you are not buying complexity. You are buying reliability and convenience in the most affordable package the coffee industry has ever produced. The best use case here is exactly what it sounds like. Travel, office break rooms, camping, emergencies, and anyone who needs caffeine fast without thinking about it. But wait until you hear the difference with level 2. Level 2, cheap ground coffee, priced between $8 and $12. This is the level most of America grew up with. The big tin on the counter, the percolator running at 6 in the morning, the smell that meant the day had officially started. Maxwell House has been in that spot since 1892, when it was first served at the Maxwell House Hotel in Nashville, Tennessee. Teddy Roosevelt reportedly called it good to the last drop on a visit to the Hermitage Plantation in 1907. Whether that story is entirely true is debatable. Whether that tagline moved billions of dollars of coffee for over a century is not. Maxwell House Original Roast is the quintessential level 2 product. Pre-ground, medium roasted, canned for long shelf life, priced around $8 to $10 for a significant quantity. It is designed to work in a drip machine, taste inoffensive to the widest possible audience, and never run out when you need it. Here is what the marketing will not tell you. Pre-ground coffee begins losing aromatic compounds the moment it is ground. By the time a tin of Maxwell House reaches your cabinet, through processing, packaging, shipping, and shelf time, much of the volatile flavor chemistry that makes coffee interesting has already dissipated. What remains is the basic structure, roast character, caffeine, body. That is not nothing. But it is a fraction of what the same beans could have been. The flavor at this level is familiar to most American palates for a reason. It is what most Americans grew up tasting. Mild roast sweetness, low acidity, a little earthiness, and an easy finish. It is not offensive. It is not exciting. It is the baseline that defined American coffee culture for most of the 20th century. The rule at level 2 is this: you are paying for convenience and volume, not for quality. That is a perfectly legitimate trade. Just know what the trade is. However, if you are willing to shift your focus from convenience to value, The next level offers a far more rewarding balance between price and quality. Level 3. Budget private label whole beans, $10 to $15. This is the level where most people could dramatically improve their coffee experience without spending any more money, and most of them never make the jump. That gap between level 2 and level 3 is the most important and most overlooked quality leap in the entire coffee ladder. Amazon Fresh Colombia Whole Bean is the entry point here. It is Amazon's own private label, priced competitively against the Maxwell houses of the world. But it delivers something fundamentally different: whole beans. That matters more than almost any other single variable in coffee quality. When you grind beans fresh before brewing, even with a cheap blade grinder, you unlock aromatic compounds that pre-ground coffee simply cannot preserve. The Colombia origin gives you something specific to taste as well. Colombian coffee is prized for its balance, medium body, mild acidity, caramel sweetness, and a clean finish. It is not the most complex coffee in the world, but it is distinctly Colombian. You can taste the origin. Here is what most people get wrong at this level. They assume buying whole beans requires an expensive grinder or elaborate equipment. It does not. A $25 burr grinder and a basic drip machine will outperform a $200 machine running pre-ground coffee every single time. The freshness of the grind matters more than the sophistication of the brewer. What Amazon figured out with private label coffee is the same thing every grocery store figured out. You can source decent beans, roast them reasonably well, skip the marketing budget, and sell the result for less than the branded competition. The product is often comparable. The story is just quieter. At level 3, you have crossed from commodity coffee into actual coffee, not exceptional coffee, but real, origin-specific, freshly grindable coffee that rewards even minimal attention. Let's stay tuned as we climb all the way to level 7, where the coffee experience truly transforms. Level 4, mid-range organic and fair trade, $15 to $25. This is where values enter the equation alongside flavor. And that is not a criticism. It is simply an accurate description of what you are buying when you reach for a bag with organic certification and a fair trade seal. Mount Hagen is the reference brand at this level. It is an organic, fair trade certified coffee from Germany that has built a devoted following among American specialty shoppers. It is available as both instant and whole bean, which makes it unusual in the market. The instant version, in particular, consistently surprises people who assume ethical sourcing and convenience are incompatible. What does organic certification actually mean for coffee? It means the beans were grown without synthetic pesticides or fertilizers. Coffee, like many agricultural products, can carry significant pesticide residue when grown conventionally. For a crop you are dissolving in hot water and drinking daily, that is a legitimate concern worth paying a small premium to address. Fair trade certification means farmers received a guaranteed minimum price regardless of commodity market fluctuations, a protection that matters enormously in an industry where small-scale growers are routinely squeezed by market volatility. Does organic fair trade coffee taste better? Sometimes, but not automatically. The certifications tell you about how the coffee was grown and traded, not about the specific quality of the bean or the skill of the roaster. What you tend to get at this level, though, is more thoughtful sourcing overall. Producers who care about their supply chain tend to care about their roast profiles too. The flavor profile at Mount Hagen's whole bean tier is clean, balanced, and notably free of the harsh or burnt notes that can creep into cheaper roasts. It is a medium roast, with low bitterness and a gentle sweetness. The rule at level 4 is simple. You are paying for impact as well as taste. The rule at number 5, you pay more than you do for a large pizza. Level 5, serious specialty roasters, $20 to $35. This is where coffee stops being a morning habit and starts becoming something closer to what wine enthusiasts call terroir, the specific flavor of a specific place, expressed through skilled cultivation and careful roasting. Kicking Horse coffee lands squarely at this level. Based in British Columbia, but widely distributed across the United States, they have built a reputation on sourcing quality beans from specific origins and roasting them with intention. Their kick-ass dark roast and Three Sisters medium roast are not generic blends. They are calibrated flavor experiences with recognizable profiles, batch after batch. What separates a serious specialty roaster from everything below them is a concept called traceability. At levels 1 through 4, your coffee came from somewhere, probably a commodity blend from multiple countries, standardized for consistency. At level 5, the bag tells you exactly where the beans came from, a specific country, a specific region, often a specific farm. That traceability is not just a marketing move. It reflects a fundamentally different supply chain where relationships with growers, harvest timing, and processing method are all part of the flavor. The flavor range at level 5 opens up dramatically. Depending on the origin and roast profile, you might get bright citrus acidity from an Ethiopian natural process, stone fruit complexity from a Colombian washed lot, or deep chocolate and tobacco from a Sumatran blend. The coffee starts having personality. This is also the level where brewing method begins to matter. These beans deserve better than a bargain drip machine. A simple pour-over, a French press, or an AeroPress will let you taste what the roaster actually built. For about the same price as a couple of cocktails, you can spend a week with one of the best coffee experiences available in mainstream American retail. The best value at level 5 is Kicking Horse. They consistently deliver specialty quality results at a price point that does not require a dedicated budget line. If you are enjoying this breakdown, hit subscribe. Thought this was expensive? Wait until you hear level 7. It is nearly a mortgage. Level 6, high-end estate Geisha, $49 to $89 for 8 ounces. We have officially left everyday coffee and entered a category that most people do not know exists. And the name of that category is Geisha. Let's be clear on what Geisha actually is. It is not a processing method. It is not a roast profile. It is a coffee variety, a specific genetic cultivar originally discovered in the Gori Geisha forest region of Ethiopia in the 1930s. It was brought to Panama in the 1960s, largely ignored for decades. And then in 2004, it won the Best of Panama competition by such a wide margin that buyers refused to believe the results were real. They asked for the scoring to be rechecked. It was correct. Panama Aromar Geisha from the Aromar Coffee Estate is the level 6 reference point. At $49 to $89 for 8 ounces, you are spending more per gram on coffee than on most things you will consume this week. What justifies that price? The answer is the flavor, which is unlike anything else in the coffee world. Geisha does not taste like what most people expect coffee to taste like. On a well-prepared cup, you get intense floral aromatics, jasmine, bergamot, followed by stone fruit, peach, tropical notes, and a finish that evolves for minutes rather than seconds. People who try exceptional Geisha for the first time often ask if something has been added to it. Nothing has. That is what the variety does when grown at the right altitude, harvested at peak ripeness, and processed with precision. Here is what the marketing will not tell you. At level 6, the quality of your brewing matters as much as the quality of the bean. You cannot run Aromar Geisha through a $15 drip machine and experience what you paid for. This coffee demands a pour-over, a precise water temperature around 200 degrees Fahrenheit, a quality burr grinder set fine, and about 6 uninterrupted minutes of your attention. The bean is doing everything it can. You have to meet it halfway. Is it worth $80 for 8 ounces? That depends on whether you have ever tasted anything like it. Most people who try properly prepared Geisha at this level say it is one of the most memorable flavor experiences they have encountered. Whether that is worth the price is a question only your budget can answer. Let's round it up at this one and promise me you don't get a heart attack. Level 7, record-breaking auction, Geisha, $13,000 plus per pound. We have left the realm of drinking coffee and entered something else entirely. In 2025, a washed geisha lot from Hacienda La Esmeralda, the Panamanian estate credited with introducing geisha to the specialty coffee world, sold at the Best of Panama auction for over $30,000 per kilogram. That translates to more than $13,000 per pound. That is not a misprint. Hacienda La Esmeralda is the Macallan 1926 of coffee. The Peterson family, who have owned the estate for decades, did not set out to produce the world's most expensive coffee. They were trying to solve a problem, a section of their farm that resisted conventional cultivation. The geisha trees they planted there, at elevation in the Boquete Highlands, produced something that rewrote what the industry believed coffee could be. Every Best of Panama competition since 2004 has essentially been a referendum on how extraordinary La Esmeralda's latest lot is. At $13,000 per pound, a single 8-gram serving costs approximately $230. The people buying these auction lots are not individuals making pour-overs on a Tuesday morning. They are specialty cafe owners in Tokyo, Seoul, and Shanghai, paying for the privilege of serving the world's most coveted coffee as a premium menu item. They are collectors. They are trophy hunters. A small number of them are serious researchers and coffee professionals who want to understand the ceiling of the category. Here is the uncomfortable truth about Level 7. The gap in quality between a superb $80 bag of Aromar Geisha and a $13,000 per pound La Esmeralda auction lot is real, but it is subtle in a way that requires exceptional training and extreme attention to perceive. You are paying, in large part, for scarcity, provenance, and the bragging rights attached to a specific lot number. That is not fraud. Provenance is genuinely part of the product at this level. But if you believe it will taste proportionally better than Level 6, the math will disappoint you. The law of diminishing returns does not slow down as you climb this ladder. It accelerates. And there you have it. If this opened your eyes, hit subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.